In this segment, we're going to talk about one of the techniques of reducing the impact of stereotype threat in the lives of our students, in particular, the value of affirming our students' personal values. This idea has been studied a variety of times, and one of the clearer presentations in the computing space came from this particular article in the journal Science in the year 2010. The idea here is that they noticed that there was this gap in performance of male and female students. And their intervention was very simple. They gave them a list of values that they might consider, and they asked them to list ones that worked or did not work. List ones that they liked or didn't like and write something about it, right? So they gave them a list of values, like family and friends and so on. The control group was asked to pick the one that was least important to them, the intervention the one that was most important to them, and then to write a short paragraph about why they picked that. And the idea was we can focus on ourselves as distinct from the group. If I write about my personal values, what I cherish and value the most, I focus on me as an individual instead of me as part of a group. In this particular study, months later, they did this at the beginning of a semester. At the end of the semester, they just measured the grade distribution. There was no other intervention to these students besides this activity. And what they saw here, right, so our black bars are our control group, our white bars are our value affirmation, the ones that were asked to write about their values back in the beginning of the semester. And we have a grade distribution for the course in letter grade buckets for both men and women in an introductory computing course. And what we see is that for the men, who again did not generally have this stereotype threat operating under them as a population, we see that this activity had little, if any, impact on their grade. No statistically significant impact, the same distribution for both groups of students. And for the women, we see at the high end, the A students, again, we see very little difference. At the low end, the F and D, again, very little difference. But in the middle, we see a significant number of people that would have been C's move to B's instead. These people that were struggling enough to be concerned by stereotype threat had less stereotype threat when they thought of themselves as individuals, when they had this opportunity to affirm our values. So as we have an opportunity to allow students to mobilize on who they are, you can do this exact exercise. You can just ask them to write about the thing they value most and why they value it at the beginning of the semester, and have dramatic impact in reducing stereotype threat. You can also do this in other ways, allowing students to be individuals, getting to know them as individuals and treating them as such, instead of as parts of a group, can help them focus on themselves and reduce the impact of any stereotype threat or other negative personal impact they may have from awareness of stereotypes.